Hey, Brothers Gwynne, it's Sebastien de Castell, your friend and the author of The Malevolent Seven. Thanks for having me on to talk a little bit about my latest fantasy novel. But before I start, let me just congratulate the two of you. I understand you've hit something like 6.35 million YouTube subscribers. Guys, that's amazing. You must be so proud. I've never even heard of someone getting Sorry, what? It's 6.35 thousand? Should I even be doing this thing? I mean, how many subscribers do I have? I don't have any subscribers. You don't subscribe to me. Okay, let's make this good. The Malevolent Seven is set in an entirely new fantasy world full of mercenary mages who are called Wonderists, who go around selling their spells to the highest bidder. Unfortunately, the highest bidder is usually a jerk, a would-be conqueror, a group of invaders, a religious zealot who wants to convert the entire continent to his or her benevolent faith, even if that means first torturing and killing most of the people who live there. So these are not your typical band of fantasy heroes. In fact, they're mostly trying to be out for themselves, but unfortunately they soon discover that sometimes even the worst of us are forced to be a little bit heroic. And for the Malevolent Seven, that happens when they take on a job that they discover might end with the subjugation and destruction of the entire mortal realm. So this is a pretty big, fun fantasy romp for me. It has a lot of swearing in it. I still can't believe my editor let me put in that many swear words. Like, I think I should get a plaque, like, most swear words in one novel in the first, 10 pages. Anyway, but it's also a book about how possessing different forms of magic might actually affect us as human beings. I always think when I read fantasy novels that we tend to make magic this thing that's either all benevolent or all evil. It's either noble or it's venal. But the world mostly doesn't work that way. And in our world, we have the famous Lord Acton quote, "Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely." But we don't always get to delve into what does that mean? What's getting corrupted? And so with this tale of mercenary mages trying to look out for themselves and selling their spells to whoever will buy them from them, I kind of wanted to look at, well, what happens if you have the ability to hurl thunderbolts that can tear down castle walls? What does that do to you as a person? What about the ability to manipulate other people's minds? Like, how would that affect you as a human being? So even as our 7 anti-heroes are on their way trying to basically stop the end of the world, they're also contending with trying to figure out how to trust each other and how to work together. And how do you form friendships when you're sort of in this position of always knowing you could kill someone with a spell or they might be able to kill you. There's a lot of irreverent humor in the book. Like I said, again, I still think I should get a plaque for all the swearing. But either way, I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope your viewers enjoy it. And I just want to start by saying, William, thanks so much. I understand you're giving The Malevolent Seven 5 out of 5 stars. My friend, I'm really touched. And Ed, not to be outdone, 6 out of 5 stars. I didn't even know you could give a book 6 out of 5 stars, but Ed Gwynne's done it, so I want to thank you both, and I hope I get to see you next time I'm in England. Take care.
Hi, my name is Anna Smith-Spark. I'm the author of the Empires of Dust trilogy, The Court of Broken Knives, The Tower of Living and Dying, The House of Sacrifice. I'm here to promote my new novel, A Woman with the Sword, which is out now from Luna Press. If Empires of Dust was epic fantasy, about grimdark fantasy on a huge world-spanning canvas of vastly powerful individuals, titanic clashes of power, A Woman of the Sword is a standalone novel, possibly set in the same world, possibly not. You don't have to have read Empires of Dust to read it, which is exploring one small individual life within that vast titanic clash of powers and armies. So Woman of the Sword, it says on the back, is an epic fantasy seen through the eyes of an ordinary woman. Lyde is a daughter, a wife, a mother, and a great warrior born to fight. Her sword is hungry for killing, her red right hand is red with blood. War is very much a woman's business, but war is not kind to women, and war is not kind to mothers and their sons. So it's been reviewed as Adrian Collins, editor-in-chief of Grimdark magazine, described it as, "This is Anna Smith-Spark at her heart-wrenching, mythic-feeling, storytelling best, and completely unmissable for anybody who enjoyed her Empires of Dust trilogy." And Adrian Tchaikovsky, the Clark Award winner, author of Children of Time, said, "No other writer manages to combine such raw and visceral storytelling with so exquisite a style. A fierce and compelling story of love, life and loss. So yes, Woman of the Sword is a novel about a very ordinary woman. She's closely modelled myself, very personally written about my own life and my own children, with sons, who is living a quiet life when the vast, total, epic war that I wrote about in Empires of Dust comes and overwhelms her. I described it as rather like if Elena Ferrante had been writing during the wars in the Malazan Empire. It's about what an individual person, the struggle to survive, the struggle to get those you love and care about through, the struggle to keep those you care about safe, to keep yourself safe, but also the desire that I think probably we all share to be part of those vast fantasy battles, to see them, to be caught up in them. That incredible sense, a longing that I have to see dragons, to see this vast clash of armies, to see wonders and terrors, to see gods and demons and dragons fall and burn and die, but also that horrible fear one would have of for one's own life and for the life of the people around one that one loved and cared for, if that fantasy world was in fact to be our own normal reality. It's about brothers, it's about parents and children, it's about community, it's about how we respond to vast cataclysmic disasters and astonishing moments of beauty overwhelming us. It's a book I'm intensely proud of.
Hello, my name's Ben Kane, and I'm here on the Brothers Gwynne to tell you all about my new book, Napoleon's Spy, which is out in 3 weeks, the 25th of May. It's about Napoleon's disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812, a massive campaign that led 500,000 men from Germany and into Poland on into Lithuania and then Russia. It culminated with a massive battle at Borodino in September 1812, the taking over of an abandoned Moscow, the onset of winter, and then the retreat, which many of you may well know about. It's a stirring tale, one that I was attracted to when I read a non-fiction book about it a few years ago. It just screamed out to be written into a novel. I have a half English, half French character who's never fired a pistol, who has a gambling addiction and is blackmailed into being a spy in the army, in Napoleon's army, and it was a hell of a story to write. More than 150 first-hand accounts survive, so compared to the Roman novels that I've written, when sometimes you might have as few as 4,000 words describing an entire person's life, or a person's entire life, I should say, this was just incredible. It was harrowing in places because of what happened on the retreat. Fewer than 20,000 men probably survived, and more than 130,000 horses died. It was an epic loss of life, and still an amazing novel to write, and it's not all doom and gloom. So I hope you look it up, I hope you read it, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Gareth Hanrahan, the author of the Blackburn Legacy series, which currently consists of The Gutter Prayer, The Shadow Saint, and The Broken God, and many, many role-playing books, of which that is a small but representative sample. But coming out in May, I've got the first in a new series, trilogy starting with The Sword Defiant, which is out from orbit on either the 2nd or the 4th, depending on which side of the Atlantic you're on. Anyway, it is a fantasy series. It starts where a lot of fantasy series end. Basically 20 years ago, there was Dark Lord, Lord Bone, and a band of plucky heroes assembled to fight him. There was an elf and a dwarf, a paladin, a cleric, a thief, a druid, wizard, even a farm boy. And they went off, they had many adventures, and eventually crept into the Dark Lord's evil city and ambushed him and slew him. And yay, the world was saved and there was much rejoicing. It's now 20 years later. The Dark Lord's city of evil has been occupied. The heroes have become, well, some have vanished, some have become enmeshed in the running of the city, some become corrupt, they're off doing their own politicking and conspiring and so forth. All except Sir Aelfric Lammergear, the keeper of the sword spellbreaker, or Alf the farm boy as he prefers to think of himself. Well, it's been 20 years, so Alf the farm man. Anyway, Alf kept the faith. Alf was convinced that evil was going to come back. That he should keep his sword sharp, keep his guard up, not get distracted, but just stay ready for the day the fight will resume. And now there are prophecies and omens and darkness is rising, and Alf thinks he's right. Thinks the day has come once again for heroes to rise and save the world. And he's not wrong. But as the story goes on, we'll see that he's not quite right either. It's the first book in a trilogy, and it's out in May, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, my name is Lauren. I write under the name L.L. McRae, and thank you so much to the Brothers Gwynne for the opportunity to come and talk on their YouTube channel about my Dragon Spirits series. This is an epic fantasy trilogy. Book 1, The Iron Crown, is just up here. Book 2, The Shadowgate, has just released, with the third and final book forthcoming. There is also a prequel novella called The Citrine Key for people who want to check out my writing or the world before diving into the first book. The series is set in the magic-drenched world of Tassar, which has given rise to powerful dragon spirits. Wherever there is an abundance of life, such as a forest or a lake or a river, or an abundance of a particular material, such as iron or gold, a spirit can form, and that spirit takes the form of a dragon. These dragons are bound to their domains, and the people who live within and around the area often worship the dragons, usually to avoid being cursed by them, but some lucky few who show the right kind of devotion can also be blessed by the spirits. Now, these dragons are spirits of life, and there is always a conflict to life, and that is death. This takes the form of the Mere, which are also spirits that form wherever there is death. So the site of a great battle, or a sickness or a plague in a village. And the titular Iron Crown, who has a queen bonded to the dragon spirit of iron, has pretty much vanquished all of the Mere from her lands. Book 1 starts when the Mere seem to be resurging, along with some people turning up without any memories of themselves, who they are, where they're from, anything about the world, and whether or not the Mere's resurgence is linked to the arrival of these lost souls. There are plenty of dragons, magic, corruption, curses, even griffins, and if you like your fantasy adventurous and light-hearted, this might be a series you'd like to check out. Thank you so much for the time, and I hope you enjoy whatever you read next. Thank you.
Hi, I'm João F. Silva, author of the upcoming book, Seeds of War. It's an adult epic fantasy. It's a bit gritty, it's a bit dark. The world is not a forgiving place, and we have 3 main point of view characters, and they try to do the best they can to survive in a harsh world with harsh creatures and a devastating smoke magic. And not everything is easy, but they try to do their best. These 3 point of view characters, the first one is Gimlor. She's a single mother, war veteran, and crime boss, and she's just trying to do whatever she can to protect her town and her family. The second main point of view character is Orberesis. He is a petty thief and con man who turned out to go through some changes, and basically is now pretending to be a god. And yeah, that's how he is. The third main point of view character is Rednow. He is the world's most feared mercenary, and he's a little older. He's not who he used to be anymore, but things still need to be done. Mercenary work still needs to be done. So he's going to try to do his best. And yeah, and if you like epic fantasy, if you like the gritty epic fantasy, character-driven, consider picking up Seeds of War. And yeah.
Hello, my name is K.E. Andrews, and I'm an indie author. I want to thank the Brothers Gwynne for inviting me to talk about my upcoming fantasy novel, Hills of Heather and Bone. This book will be coming out May 20th, and it takes place in a secondary fantasy world inspired by Celtic and Scottish lore. In the story, people have been given abilities by the gods to do everything from creating plants to healing wounds, and even controlling flames. These people are called blood gifted. There are some blood gifted that can hear the voices of the bones and raise the dead. So basically necromancy. They're called bone weavers. This power, however, is feared, and as such, bone weavers are hunted down. This story is about a bone weaver and her husband who are on the run after they have been discovered by a group of blood gifted that hunt bone weavers and any other blood gifted that break the law. So while on the run, they have to survive in the wilderness, facing dangerous creatures, the elements, and just trying to find a place where they can call home. And the best way I can describe this book is it's cottagecore, cozy with angst, necromancy, undead creatures and gods. There's even a spiteful chicken and numerous plant puns. So for people who enjoyed Nettle and Bone, Outlander Saga, and The Bone Witch will enjoy this book.